Okay. We are so not prepared for this. Okay. I'm fucking not prepared for this. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Hi, welcome to the 5th episode tonight of Ask the Knights, although it is a bit of a change tonight because now we have Ask the Squires. I'm thrown off because I'm not technically supposed to be hosting tonight, so this was a little last minute of a change, so bear with us. Tonight we have two gentlemen, both of whom I am probably going to butcher their names, so let's just get it over with. Okay, first we have Centurion Magnus Krepinson of... Annora. You're from Callantir. I apologize. Yes. The gentleman with an incredibly difficult name. Friedman? Ieontius? Oh my god.
Yes, ma'am. You're fine. Trust me, every time I'm in a tournament, it gets butchered. It is okay.
And you know what? I am unfortunately that mean herald where I'm like, that dude everybody knows. I am really bad about that because I'm just like, I'm not going to butcher your name and keep throwing you off. Let's just get it done with. So can you pronounce your name for us?
So I can get it right? Ieontius Demonium. I'm sorry, I'm from the South. Yeah, two Southern boys here. So.
Okay. So we're going to have to get a phrase. We're going to have to get a count tonight of how many times he calls me ma'am because I think it's going to kill me before the end of the night. Okay. I'm really sorry. And hello to everybody in the comments. I've seen a couple of them pop up. That's going to be one of our questions tonight. And after you guys introduce yourself, I have a question for you about flow because I keep hearing it and I'm dying to know what the fuck we're talking about. So, anywho, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind letting us know, how did you get started in the SCA so we can all get to know you? Magnus, you are going to go first for us if you don't mind.
Sure. So, I started playing, like swinging sticks at each other as a kid, and got into lightsabers when I was a little older. Then Game of Thrones came along, and I was really interested in buying some metal swords, some blunted metal swords, and just doing some training just for fun. I told a friend of mine this. That weekend, she ended up going to a RealmsCon, and she saw the Seawinds, the Shire of Seawinds in Annora doing a demo there in Corpus Christi, Texas, where I'm from. So she came and told me, hey, I just saw all these people doing sword fighting. I was like, no way. And I went out to their practice that Sunday, put on armor the first time, and never looked back. So here I am 6 years later.
Okay. So wait, when you say Game of Thrones, are you talking about like the books or are we talking about the show? Because I want to get a time frame here.
I watched the show. So this is, I went to my first practice, I think that first week of October 2016. I went to my first event that third week of October, which was that happened to be that Shire's Defender. So that was the first tournament I fought in. Had a great time. Obviously didn't win, but it was a lot of fun. Got my licks in. It was a good time, and I knew from the first fighter practice I knew, and then that first tournament I was like, this is something I really want to commit to and do.
Nice, good on you. Okay, Ieontius. Oh my god.
You're fine. No, you're fine. Ieontius. It's fine.
Ieontius. I will get it before the end of the night. I promise.
You're fine, ma'am.
Demetrius, you're gonna kill me. Let's not play this game. You know the lightweight with the bitch pops? I will be dead within like 3 shots. I'm already dead at this point. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So is it my turn?
Yes, it is. Tell us how you got started.
So my dad, he is known as His Highness Connor right now. He founded the SCA in the 80s. And like I always knew what the SCA was because, you know, I remember when I was around 5-6 years old, he would go to practices. And, I think he did a really honorable thing. He took a break to raise me because I was always in sports as a kid growing up, you know, and he never really had time to go to the events. So when I was around 16 years old, and like I found this photo book of him like fighting people in these really big metal helmets and swords. And I was just like, hey, Dad, like, what is this weird thing you're doing? And he was like, well, you know, it's called the SCA. And I was like, you want to like go to an event? And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, you know, why not? And I got hooked ever since. I went to this event called Newbie in the burying of Small Gray Bear. That's Little Rock, Arkansas. And I never looked back.
That's really neat. So you, instead of being born into it and kind of getting bored and maybe coming back in your teenage years, you got interested on your own from your parents? Because they
so like some people say, well, I grew up in the SCA, and like they asked me like, you grew up in the SCA, right? And I was like, no, I didn't get to really my first event until I was like 16 years old.
That's really cool. That's an absolute opposite of what you tend to hear with most kids being raised in the SCA. That's really neat, actually.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Okay, I gotta know. Effin kept talking about it. Who's backstage is our techie. What the fuck is this thing about flow? So, because as a female, I'm dying.
It's a terrible fighting style.
Flow is short for Florentine, or fighting with two swords. I had a feeling that was gonna be your reaction. Yeah, we just call it flow. That's just kind of the vernacular we use around here. That's just kind of, I learned it as like a kimbo from playing Call of Duty super early. I was like, I want a kimbo sword. So people were like, that's not how we say it. And I was like, 2 swords. And they're like, that's better. And then it's one syllable. I fight flow. It's just easy.
See, and you guys both do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Fuck.
Yes, ma'am.
Fuck you both.
He's from Texas.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Arkansas. From the South.
Oh my god. Okay. See, and I'm Californian. We say bro to everybody. I've said it to like my older aunt. I don't know how many times. So bro is apparently ma'am. I don't know. Okay. So hi everybody. Okay. Here we go. So who are you guys knighted to? I'm kind of curious because obviously Krepinson. Fuck, I can't get the directional on this shit. Krepinson, obviously you were telling me that that's your knight.
So my knight is Majesty of Annora, Crepin Lestrich, which is spelled L ostrich, French. But that's my knight. So I have a Norse persona, and it happened to work out with the heraldry and everything kind of all fit together. I had some really good people on my side to help me get this passed. We had to pick and pluck some names, but we got it through. We got it authorized and passed. So it's just the patronage of what a son would be.
Yeah, sure. No, totally makes sense. And I keep wanting to say Leonidas. I have to get that out of my head.
Oh, you're fine.
Ieontius. No, fuck.
Ieontius.
Ieontius. There we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
There's an invisible O there. Ieontius. Okay.
Yeah. I'm Squire to His Grace Duke Donegal Erickson of Callantyre.
Nice. Awesome. All right. I'm sorry, Effin. I did go against the usual script and asked my own questions. I apologize. This wouldn't have happened if somebody else had been the one hosting tonight.
This wouldn't happen if you would follow the script.
What script, bro? Okay. I think the next question who's supposed to be on the script is who is your SCA hero and why? And I'm dying.
Woo, that's a good one.
So glad I don't have to go first on this one.
Oh, do I have to go first on this one?
Yeah.
Yes, when your picture is biggest, you are the one in the hot seat.
Oh, so I really don't have an SCA hero per se. I have people that I really like their fighting.
Mm-hmm.
If that's different. So, like, to me, I mean, I have like kind of like 4 guys, I guess. Sword and Shield. It's always going to be Duke Jason of Drysdale of Annora. Because growing up, I always thought, because I'm not the tallest guy in the SCA. I stand at like 5'9", and I'm always like, when you come to the SCA, there's huge men, and I was 16 years old, and Jason is not the tallest guy either, but he showed me that there are athletic footwork fighters that are out there. And then there is a knight in Callantyre. His name is Sir Arnfast. And he is one of my huge inspirations right now, fighting Sword and Shield. Then Florentine, I would have to say Duke's fan of Annora. Magnus is one of my heroes in the SCA right now.
Aww.
If it wasn't for Magnus, I would right now in my fighting career, I would not be where I am right now.
Ooh, that's gonna need to be a question for later on. Effin. So I want to hear about that one later. Alrighty. So I mean, it's a good rounded group of people. It sounds like. All right, Magnus, your turn.
Oh, this is a hard one.
Yeah,
it is. It's a hard one.
my hero in the SCA, well, it's going to be kind of cliche, but my knight, His Majesty Treppin, not only on and off the field, just being there and supporting me in a way that helped me navigate a lot of the problems I had. A lot of words, but he helped me out a lot with a lot of maturing issues I had and a lot of stuff like that. And on the field, he's a monster. Off the field, he's one of the most compassionate people I've ever met. So him taking me in and helping me along, on this fun little path has been I'd say overall he's my hero. Honorable mentions also Duke Sven and Duke Jason, both amazing guys. Same thing. They're just amazing people. The first time I met Duke Jason, he was the king, and he was showing me a shot, and he cracked his sword in half. I thought that was awesome. And the first time I saw Sven, he was at the top of the hill at BAM, or the top of the stairwell, and I swear I was looking at a demon. So those guys are honorable mentions also. So stealing a little from Ieontius also.
I saw somebody in the comments say call him Leo, and I'm like, okay, we're going with that.
We're gonna go.
Yeah, you can just call me Leo. You can just call me Leo.
His Highness of Callantir demands it. So.
Yes, I think I know him. I got to meet him, and I was super thrilled when I heard that he won. Congratulations! I meant to post it.
He is one of the most amazing people you will ever meet.
He really is. Super nice guy, and I got to actually got to visit there a couple of months ago for a friend's wedding, and got to meet all these guys, and it was really cool to learn from another kingdom all of these great advice. It was really awesome. And Magnus, I'm having a really hard time seeing you as having any kind of problems, like needing to grow up. You seem incredibly calm and
that's how good of a job he did. And
wow.
Other people in my life. So this is is lots of hammering and beating the iron into a shape and form it. It was pretty rough, believe me.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, next question is always one of my favorites. What keeps you guys coming back to the SCA time and time again?
Woo!
Feels like I dodged it.
It's the people. My lady Marjorie Heron, I met her through the SCA. All some of my closest friends and people I call brother and would lay down on the sword for, I met in the SCA. The fact that what we do is such a niche group of interaction, especially fighting and camping and camaraderie. If it was just a sport, if it was just fighting, you could do that anywhere. I did a lot of MMA, did a lot of disciplines before this. This is the only one I've stuck with. And that's true. It's the best of having a competitive outlet for a martial and having the people in the community there. So it's the people for me.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Leo.
I think to me, just like Magnus, the people. I have so many of my friends. Like if you guys are watching, you guys know who you guys are. They inspire me not to only just be a better fighter, but be a better person. And it really has that family impact that I didn't really have growing up. And it just like, one, I know I always get to see my family at every event, but I also know like
are we talking blood family, or are we talking like SCA family?
SCA family.
Okay.
And they just inspired me to keep going back, and also and also we kind of have like that friendship rivalry too, like who's going to get there one day, who's going to be the first one to win crown, and it's kind of just like, I don't want to go too long without winning something, and just stuff like that. That harmless friendship rivalry that we all have.
That's fair. It's totally fair. Alrighty. We're all squires here. I think we all have these kind of hurdles, but what is your guys' biggest hurdles as unbelts that you're currently dealing with?
I think right now is I think it's kind of my age right now. I'm 20 years old. And sometimes that can be looked down upon, and I have to fight. I feel like I have to fight a bunch of, not necessarily like bad things, but there. I think some people know that are watching. There's definitely some haters, and you just have to fight the, what people say about you. Oh, well, he's only doing this because he's young, or well, he's only doing this, because he's athletic. And I'm trying to show people. That's not the only reason why I have success.
Never thought of it that way. That's a good point. All right,
So,
Magnus?
Just to hear the question, it's what's the biggest thing holding us back, like as far as our path?
Yeah, like something, maybe something that's constantly coming up, like I'm constantly down on myself, sort of thing.
So I think the biggest problem right now for me is timing of mundane life. I'm a full-time student, and to me, a knight is someone who goes out of the way and beyond, and is there, seeing constant doing, constantly being a leader, constantly helping on and off the field, doing this. And my mundane life has limited my ability to fill those roles. I'm looking forward to graduating and having the opportunity to fulfill those roles and do that kind of stuff, to be out there more and not just showing up every here and there and fighting here and there and going on the long break because I have so many tests. So I'm looking forward to being being able to be consistently active. So I think one more consistent activism is the main thing for me.
It's a hard one, especially when you're excuse me, our work lives, that's what pays for our freaking game. If you lose your job, you can't play. But if you want to play and you lose your job, you are literally between a rock and a hard place. Or I guess in our sport, it's a sword and an arrow, I guess. Okay. Currently, this one's an interesting one. Who is your guys' boogeyman?
Woo!
Funnily enough, Florentine is mine, so that's why I'm looking at the two of you.
Man, I didn't expect these hard questions, man. I feel vulnerable right now.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
In no particular order, my knight, His Majesty Crepin, Sir Ragnar, and Duke Sven are the current active players that are my boogeymen. When I fight them, I feel like I'm a kid trying to wrestle his dad or something. It's just, I have been told you should fight them better. Not that I would win, but I should put up a better fight. But I think that's one of those mental hurdles I need to get past to break in to fighting Kal-bardrs from that. Because when they fight me for real, it's everything I have, all my defenses and everything shuts down, and I feel like I'm just getting hit. So those, no particular order, those three.
I completely understand that, and you'll never hear me give shit about that. All right, Leo.
Probably would have to say I have two. Right now, me and Magnus have both lost to him in the same tournament. His name is Duke Xerxes of Gellir. And I have met him in the finals of 4 tournaments since moving to Gellir. And he has beat me in all 4. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's wicked fast, but he's a cool fight.
Fast. Good build, athletic. Coming in here, I like to think there's a saying, two tigers can't share the same mountain, and definitely to me, he's that other tiger on that mountain. And I'd probably have to say the second one is my dad right now, Prince Connor McEldridge of Glenavon. I mean, every time we fight, I can always feel like all eyes are on us. And one thing is that I think he'll always have on me. He beat me in the finals of a crown, so that's something he'll always have on me. Mm-hmm. And so every time we fight, people are going to see, who's going to have this day. And I can always tell, fighting him, it's always a little personal. It's never, it is sport. We keep it sport, but also it's a little personal, my dad's trying to make sure he keeps his son in place, and the son's trying to let him know, that, it's my chair now. It's my couch.
Exactly. Yeah. That's, I don't envy you that problem.
And I can never let the gas off the pedal when fighting my dad. So those two guys are my boogeymen.
That's totally understandable. This one's kind of cute one, but aside from fighting and of course your partner, what is your greatest love in the SCA?
My SCA family. With them, I wouldn't be here. Sorry, I almost got a little emotional.
I was going to say, was that the drink, or are we hearing a little bit of a little choking?
Oh no, I just drink root beer.
I mean, you can get stuck in your throat.
No, for one, my parents met in the SCA. She's my stepmom, and but I don't call her my stepmom. I call her my mom because she's always been there for me ever since I was a kid. I call them my brothers. David, if you're out there, Eric Oren, His Highness of Countier, Charlie and Xerxes. I mean, those guys are all my families. I mean, they keep me here. They give me lessons. Like they always they call me the little brother of the group, and I literally am. I'm the little brother of the group. And they paved the way for me, and they show me. And without my SCA family, I wouldn't be here.
I feel kind of left out.
You too, Effin. You too.
The voice of God comes over out of nowhere.
So I'm gonna play with the wording of this because it's besides the fighting. So obviously fighting's fun for me, but one of the most recent things, I recently took over Knight Marshal of our barony, and we've had some new guys come out, and these kids are monsters. Like I was fighting this one guy, his name is David, and I was kind of just blocking, letting him swing, and he threw a fake and landed me in the ribs with a real shot, and I was like, this is your third practice. You shouldn't be able to do this. So being able to see these newer people and the next generation after us come in and pick it up is something that you repeat the specific wording of the question again? Is what that does.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to putting it. It's the glove.
So seeing what I was able to do years back, like I remember the first time I landed a hit on someone, I was like, oh my god, and I could do that, and seeing that look in other people's faces, that's seeing it in other people has been probably my greatest love recently, besides fighting and my lady in the SCA.
Well, it's a good point because it's kind of giving you the opportunity to relive that moment too, like you said, and you're getting to if they continue to fight, you'll remember that time they got that first shot, and you can bring that up later to them if they ever get knighted, where I remember when you threw that first shot, and I was there for it. I got to watch your progression. How cool would that be?
I got the picture.
That's got to be awesome. Yeah, exactly. All right. We are currently at 23 minutes in, which means that we are getting very close to starting to take audience questions, especially because my behind the scenes guys, we don't have as many questions up as we should right now. I think a great one is how did you guys meet your knights? How did you guys get Squire to them? Because I already asked who your knights were, but how did you meet them?
So when I was coming up and I'd been fighting down in Seawinds, which is Corpus Christi, way south Anstiora, I'd gone to some tournaments around, and I had just through videos and stuff, I kind of was interested in two-sword fighting. I met Duke Sven at an event and talked to him about training. And after I was like, I actually did what they told me, which is go fight lefty for a year. Because one of the things a lot of people want to learn how to fight two-sword. They say, I want to be a legendary two-sword fighter. One of the most important things is you cannot approach it as a right-handed fighter. You have to approach it as a left-handed fighter. If you don't know how to fight left-handed, hard to fight two swords as a left-handed fighter. So I met him and kind of got affiliated with like all the people up in the Dallas area. So when I moved from Corpus to Dallas for school, I was introduced, and I already met him. I guess the first time I met him was at BAM, and we had already kind of discussed, we were similar frame, similar style, our personalities matched. So it kind of just all fell together. There wasn't an exact moment. It was kind of a gradual thing. And then I had talked to him about what are you looking for in student? What are you looking for in Squire? And so we went from there. So I met Duke Sven first, got introduced to everyone else, and that's kind of how that all came about.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Leo?
I met Donegal in 2018. We have an event in Arkansas. It's called Diamond Wars. And I started the fight. It was really hard because I felt like no one really wanted to fight a 16-year-old, And I 100% agree, no one wants to hurt a 16-year-old, Because, I think, especially as a young fighter, you got to understand you're fighting grown men. Mm-hmm. And, and all I wanted was, just to hit some people with some sticks. And this man, I remember, I'll never forget, he had a suit, a very nice Crusader kit, very beautiful. And he's like, hey, you looking to fight? And I was like, yeah. And, just right there, he taught me so many things, beginning in what we call this long, long journey of SCA fighting. And then he figured out I was moving to Palantir, and we talked, and I told him I really love to learn how to be a knight someday.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody can fight. I feel like people don't realize that everybody can fight. Anybody can pick up a stick, but not everybody can act a peer. Not everybody can be a peer. And I wanted him to teach me to be a knight. And ever since
really good wording.
And we've been on this journey together. And if he's watching, I know it's been hell for him. So, but he's always been right there beside me.
Nah, you're doing fine. You're doing totally fine. That's why I'm still thrown.
He's definitely got some white hairs because of me. So
that's their job. They've all been there once, and sometimes they still have moments. I got 2 of them. But really
I had 2 of them one time.
Yeah, see? All right, so aside from your dreaded flow style currently, what other styles are you kind of interested in learning right now?
It's funny you say that.
This doesn't have to do with just heavy fighting. You can do any style.
We have cut and thrust in Palantir. It's very big in Palantir. We don't have rapier. We have cut and thrust. And it looks really fun. I'd like to be interested in that, and also I'd really be interested in learning sword and shield from Sir Armfast in Palantir. He really knows how to use his body and use his athletic ability to get around, and he just has if you watch his fights, he has amazing footwork, and he's just his actual name is Armfast, but we call him Armfast in Palantir, and he is that fast. And he has an interesting way of fighting. He fights with a 32-inch sword, and he fights with a little tiny scutum, and he can move, and just some of the stuff he does sword and shield is amazing.
Interesting. I'm gonna assume. Hang on, real quick, Magnus. Keith Eldridge. I assume that's your knight, Leo.
Who?
Keith Eldridge.
That's his father.
That's my dad.
Oh, okay. You can't blame him for the for those. Those are just.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Par for the course.
His second ex-wife gave him a bunch of those too.
Oh.
So what style I'm interested in learning in?
We just looked to another camera.
So
go, Magnus.
One of the things, I guess I started right-handed because I'm naturally right-handed. Did that for a year. Then I did lefty for a year and a half. During the pandemic, I picked up longsword, and it was Duke Mark Durundle. I think I'm saying that right. Mark Hollingshed, Mundane. He has so many great resources, and it was so fun to switch from 2 hands moving independently to 1 hand on a sword. So longsword has been a big one. I feel like I've gotten decent at it. There's still a long way I need to go, but that's been a really fun one. The mechanics of just how fast one sword can move is way different than a sword and board fight or a flow on flow fight.
True, yeah.
And another one I really enjoy. I actually hurt my knee last May while I was recovering. They said no linear movements. You could do like fencing, but we don't want you fighting. So I picked up rapier, and I've been doing rapier on and off for about a year and some change now. And that's been incredibly fun to switch from heavy to rapier. Before I was the night marshal, I was doing rapier almost every practice the last 30 minutes. It's a little harder now. But longsword and rapier, specifically rapier and dagger, I think that's the most fun dynamic to do on that field. Those are the 2 I'm really interested in becoming better and more proficient in. Oh, and then honorable mention, obviously, I have a blank I haven't taped up, but I want to do Madu also. I think that would be terrifying, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
It's very much fun.
My lady fights Madu primarily, so I'm very familiar, and so that's something I'm interested in doing when I get around to taping it up.
That's fair. I mean, always.
I think I'd like to do sword and bardiche too. Sword and bardiche sounds fun.
Bardiche?
Yeah, so it's it's an axe. So basically, you're kind of using it as a Madu, but instead of a top spike, you have an axe head that you punch with.
Interesting. I never knew it had that name.
We have a
You can.
There we go. Look at that beautiful
pop
bardiche.
them in the face. Yeah.
Interesting.
We have a legendary Huskarl. I mean, he's an amazing fighter, and his name is David, and he is very deadly with that thing.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, Dalu.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah, he's a. He
Let's
represents
hear.
He represents Huskars very well.
We're gonna add that to the question too. Our next question is from Lady Thora of Artemisia. Do you dabble in any arts and sciences? Teeth don't count, Magnus.
I really enjoy like being hands-on and doing stuff any chance I get. We have a local. He's gonna hate me because I'm forgetting his SCA name, but his name's Red Bruck. He's a blacksmith by trade and profession, mundane.
Awesome
so we've
guy.
done awesome guy. We've done I've done some copper work and some metal work with him. They're on my page. I'm not gonna waste the time pulling up a picture, but for my knight and his lady, for when Cat when
and Cat
when my knight and his lady, now her Majesty Torin Seven Stitches won. I wanted to do something special for their champions, both the King's Champ and Queen's Champ. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fulfill them, but they both were going to have bowed out rounds. And my cats, they both, I wanted to make them something special. So on my page, I made them it was a stone, and I carved in old Futhark. Magnus Krebitz, to declare my intent to be named champion. So I made my scrolls out of big blocks of stone and used Dremel modern tools. But
wow,
yeah, there's a picture of them on my page. I'll pull them up here in a second.
Just let the cat get on.
Okay, Ivy.
Yeah,
now she's being kind.
We're not against the cats. Mine are all on an electric blanket right now.
Yeah, I do really enjoy the arts. I enjoy being hands-on, and I love the seeing like people's reaction that you make them something and you put your time into it, and you get to get that reaction. And it's something special that lasts. So I do enjoy dabbling in a lot of those. 2D is not my thing, like drawing. I don't work in 2 dimensions, but 3-dimensional sculpting, carving, I love it.
Good. At least we're not getting our
science-wise. Arts and science-wise, I've never been the most gifted in arts and science. I always say my big thing, besides fighting, has always been kind of service.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I make like cool stuff out of like dead things. Does that count?
Like taxidermy?
Like for instance, like this little.
Oh no, that's the shit.
Yeah,
that's
like put a little
huge
chain
in
on
our
it.
world. Are you kidding? Oh yeah, people are paying big bucks
those
for
are
that.
coming through that clear, but
I don't really like putting myself out there when it comes to arts and science.
Those look like cheese, Magnus. But no, that's the bone thing is really cool because it's incredibly period, and the stuff you can make out of that. I mean, I have nothing against bones, but I don't want to clean them up. So if I found something, I'd send it to you.
Oh, my lady, her name is Caitlin, and she really got me started on it. She loves doing the Wiccan kind of witchy goth stuff, and to me it was weird at first too. I was like, wow, that's dead. That's supposed to be in the ground somewhere. And then she was like, no, like you can make some really cool stuff out of this. Like for instance, she has really cool like chicken bone earrings, and just like it's really awesome.
Oh yeah, people pay big bucks for that kind of stuff now. Oh, absolutely. Okay. So I heard earlier somebody mentioned it too about the Huskarl, and a couple of people are asking about it. Both the Centurion and the Friedman. I talked about you guys earlier about this before the video started, but then I heard Huskarl.
I'm not a Huskarl. I am I'm a Friedman.
Friedman, and that's your guys' version. And you said because Squire is not a title, you guys use that.
I mean, really, a Squire is kind of. It just shows that you're like in Good Hobbit and Countier. It shows you have a relationship with somebody. We don't ever really get announced as Squire so and so. We so in Countier, they are very traditional when it comes to the steps of knighthood, or we have masters as well, which I think is really cool. Not a lot of kingdoms have those. And but anyways, in Countier, I am a Friedman. So to be a Friedman, you need to be authorized in 3 different weapon styles. but you need to be deadly in 2.
Deadly as in you've had to have won a tournament by them, or how did they decide?
You need to be proficient, so you need to be able to hold your own no matter who it is. You don't need to be one-shotted. You need to kind of look like you know what you're doing with that thing.
Interesting. Okay.
And then we have the absolute legendary Huskarl. The Huskarl is a legend in itself, and I'll be glad to talk about that later. But they need to almost be deadly in every weapon system.
So who decides on it though? Is it the king and queen at the time, or they voted in?
The Fearedmen, we are a AOA polling order. We go, and we go and we have our meetings, and then someone will be brought up, and we either say yay or nay. We do not think they are proficient enough to be. And then the Huskarls, just like someone will be brought up, and the Huskarls will vote if they feel like they are a Huskarl.
Interesting. Okay. Alrighty. That makes much more sense now. Way more sense. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we say Huskarls, if you give them a spoon, they should be able to kill somebody.
Valid. Totally valid. Okay, so now with the Centurion, is that something you called yourself, or is that something from your kingdom?
So this is something specific to Antiora. Our Grant Fighting Award, Heavy Fighting Award, is the Centurion of the Sable Star of Antiora. It's a polling grant order, so you have to be polled in, like any other order. And I guess, was it asking like what is a Centurion? Is that what the question kind of was? Well, how do I? So a lot of Centurions, it means a lot of different things to people, and there's lots of aspects of being a Centurion that some people will value more than others. So in general, it's going to be someone who obviously has knowledge of the courtly graces and knows how court is run, knows how the game is run, knows how stuff is set up. Someone who's active in volunteering, seen out there, helping people. And it's also someone who's proficient in multiple weapon styles, not just your main style, proficient in a melee style, another tournament style. And another really important thing is for Centurions is battlefield leadership. Someone who can, from their area, put together a local group or command troops in a way to not get them killed, is proficient on the battlefield. So for me, a Centurion is someone who's been in the game long enough to be recognized as they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, and they're on their way to becoming a peer, and they've checked all those boxes off. You start at the bottom, you rise up. So they're doing things and being seen, and it's a recognition of being seen, doing all the things I just mentioned. Courtly graces, fighting, leadership, and especially melee leadership is a big one for us. And it is a polling order, like I said. So all the Centurions meet, we discuss upcoming ones, and we vote on if someone should be made or not. So that's
wow.
These
other kingdoms are fascinating.
I get to wear this cape over me. So anytime someone sees this, it's kind of a symbol of that's a Centurion, and it's very big and flashy. It's awesome. I love it, and it's hard.
Is there only ever one Centurion, or do all Centurions wear that?
So we all wear our. So this is my cloak was made specifically for me.
I see.
Duchess Margarita of Antiora. She made this one specifically for me. My lady just got made a Centurion. Hers was passed down from several people, all who have reigned. So she has a lot of pressure to do that. But so there's different cloaks. There's reliquaries like holy items in Antiora. There originally were 6 cloaks made when the order was formed, and those are like legendary cloaks. I had the honor of making one of our friends. It was given to me to give to him when he got made. So it's a really sentimental thing. And unfortunately, this one was made to be a fighting one. You can't see because of the grain, but it's getting a little worn through, and I don't want to destroy it. But I still fight with it. It was made out of heavy canvas for me. So yeah, we wear those over our. So I wear mine under my side, Roman style. A lot of people wear them over their shoulder. Some people will have 2 of them. They will have their fighting one and their fancy court one. My friend has one with muscles flexing on it. It was made specifically for him. So. Wow. And one of our Centurion, one of our brothers, he's a master of defense. So his has like the master of defense symbol around his cloak. So it symbolizes he's not only a Centurion, but he's a master of defense. So they get super into it, super customized. So it's It's a really fun thing I could go on for hours about. You're muted.
I thought I'd hit it. Thank you for that. It's really cool to hear about that because, like Thora is saying, it's entirely different from what we deal with in our own kingdoms, and we had no idea of this kind of a thing. So it's really neat to get that insight and get like a little peek into how other kingdoms run their stuff and how they acknowledge their non-peers, and that's really, really cool. I mean, I can tell you guys are both incredibly proud of what your titles, I guess, if they are titles, what you are in your kingdom. As you rightly
should. I think that's another thing both our orders have is you need to be part of the kingdom. I mean, I've been around the Centurions a bunch, and I mean, they take much pride in being a Centurion, and it's well earned. I mean, their word fame is, I feel like, all across the SCA. And, to be part of just like, the Centurions, to be part of the Fearmen, you need to be part of Gellir.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point.
For one instance, you can't become a Fearman unless you support the army.
That's fair. No, and it's a great point. You can't just come through, go to an event and be given something. Oh, you fought with us today. Great. Here you go.
Exactly.
No, you got to prove your worth. And I like that a lot. It makes you very, very loyal to your kingdom too, I imagine.
Exactly. And I think, some people talked to me about it I was not from Gellir. I was from Glenavon. And so everybody thought it was very interesting. Everybody kind of put their eyes on me, and, and I think, and I'm very honored to have the privilege to represent the Fearmen, not as being born of Gellir.
No, absolutely. Okay.
And one of the quick things, like, this represents, you have to be at a certain fighting level. So if everyone checks off every box across the board, but they can't swing stick good, that is a minimum requirement of what is a Centurion fighting level. So it also is the denominator of, like, a prowess also. When you see, that's not obviously the only thing that goes into it, but when you see that, from my background in formal martial arts, I know some people hate it when I mention that, but I equate this to, like, your red or purple belt. You're not a black belt yet, but you've been recognized as being on your way, and you can mess some people up if you need to. So
sure, no, absolutely, yeah. Well, since you guys have these titles, what is something that you strive for in the SA other than knighthood?
So I had mentioned I picked up rapier when my knee was injured because I could only move back and forth. And I really fell in love with that discipline, with the community in Annora, the rapier community. So many of my friends are cadets, white scarves, red scarves, provosts and mods. And it's a goal of mine sometime after I become a knight is to then buckle down and go down that path to become a master of defense. So that is one of my goals outside of just, again, sorry, the original question again.
No, you did it. What do you strive for in the SA other than knighthood?
Oh yeah, so other than knighthood, become a master of defense. So another cookie, but
no, as somebody who came from rapier, I totally understand. What about you, Leo?
I feel like something I strive for to help my friends succeed. Like I said, we're nothing without our homies. And like good I know if they're doing good, and then like my friend David, I mean, he got his Carl, and I was just like, it was so happy because I mean, we just like I feel like we just fought, and he finally got it, and just like I know if they're succeeding, then one day I'll succeed because if they're getting better, then I know that will make me better. I think eventually, I don't know if I'll ever get knighted. I don't know if I'll ever get mastered, but if I do, I mean, who knows? The future. If it happens, it happens. But I'd love to get squires and see them graduate. To me, I mean, that is an honor of itself to know that you have students that are doing good and representing what a peer should be.
No, so I think that's a great thing for you, and especially because you're encouraging your friends. It's not you just trying to better yourself. You're looking out for other people, and I already appreciate that about you very much.
Oh, I mean, Magnus. Magnus is one of the big deals. I mean, like I said, I'm even here. He inspires me. And like I see him doing good, I'm like, whoa, I need to catch up. Or like, he just won this huge tournament. Woo, I need to step up.
Exactly. So here's a question from a friend of mine actually here in the West called Sun. Her name is Sunwolf. What non-fighting skill do you think is essential for you to pursue on your path to knighthood? I'm assuming other than fight prowess.
I mean, you need to. I think one huge thing that I think just we fighters, I think we get lost in it. Sometimes I feel like we think about ourselves too much, and it's okay. But I feel like we need to recognize that, and we need to recognize that we need to also help other people. A peer to me takes people to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need to just have this ambition and fire. Also, we need to pass the fire on. We can't just if you just think about yourself. We all love the SCA. No one will know what the SCA is if you don't show people what the SCA is and what. And I think it's a responsibility even as a non-peer to show people the love of the game and even show them what we love. Because without new people, we wouldn't have the SCA. So exactly. I think that's one huge thing that we need to do on our path is learn to help other people and take people with us.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully said. Good answer. Very good answer. All right, Magnus, you got to follow that.
I'll do my best. For it was specifically knight, not a peer, correct? Just want to make sure I'm saying that.
Yeah, I would say knighthood. Yes.
I think one of the most important things for knighthood, and it's kind of a 2-in-1, is leadership and conflict resolution. Someone's really drunk and being rowdy at a site. They're gonna grab the nearest knight. They're gonna say, hey, we got someone over here that needs to deal with that. And your ability to deal with those situations at the right amount of escalation and not any bit further, I think, is something that is pinnacle of a knight to do. You're looked upon as a leader in the community. You're looked upon as someone who's mature and able to handle these things, being able to apply the right amount of force to the right situations. And that is leadership, in my opinion, because that goes into everything else, how you talk to people, how you interact with your friends, with people who aren't your friends, but you still are around a lot, so you play the same game. Being able to have high-level conflict resolution, I think, is something really important to a knight.
Holy shit, guys. This is our 5th episode, and no offense, the knights that we've had on here have been fantastic. I think those are officially 2 of my most favorite answers I have ever fucking heard, and fucking kudos to you. I would clap if it wasn't going to throw out the mic, but fuck me, that was amazing.
Well, thank you,
Holy
ma'am.
Shit. Fuck, you saw the comment, didn't you, Leo? God.
Another one to the count.
Yeah,
I think me and Magnus both have. I think also we need to give credit. We both have really good knights, and I feel like I met his knight Crepin, His Majesty Crepin, and he's a really guy. And I think without them we wouldn't be able to do this. So.
Oh, I'm dying to meet your knights now. Hopefully I'll get to meet them if they ever go to Gulf Force, because we're gonna try and get there next year. But holy shit, these guys did a great job of raising.
I think that Donegal should be there.
Good, because I hope to meet them and you guys, of course. But wow. Good job.
Can I? Is it okay if I shout out somebody real quick?
Of course. No, absolutely should.
I was also Squire to Gladobin to his name is Bear Killer, and also if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be on this path too. So thank you, Bear Killer, if you're watching.
He sounds very familiar. I think I've heard that name a couple of times. It's a thankfully unique enough name.
He's kind of the president of the SCA.
That must be what it is. That could be
it. Board of directors, though, that doesn't really count. That's just like an invisible.
I think I see that in my the paperwork that comes every month because we paid our dues. I think that might be why. Anywho, so John H. John asked, how do you define greatness as a fighter in our game? That's a toughie.
I think greatness as a fighter is defined by those around you. It's hard to know where where your path is unless you're like literally the dog at the top beating everyone. But greatness is something that is recognized in others by you, not just by your fighting, but because anyone can go out there and beat people up. There's a lot of people that are really good murderers, really good killers. It takes a lot to be a really good teacher, and it takes a lot to be a patient teacher, especially with someone so much lower than you. To lower yourself down, and even if you're not having a challenge, to help other people, raise other people up. So I think greatness is defined by your actions and those around you, and it's something that's given to you over a long career. It's not because again, anyone can go up. Not anyone, but there's a lot of people that could go out there and be really good killers. But being a really good killer doesn't necessarily make you a great fighter.
I am going to smile and go yes, while deep inside I am going absolutely batshit. That's a great answer. Great answer. Okay, Leo, your turn.
I would just like to say hi, Your Grace Ionis. That's His Grace Ionis of the East. Love you, man. I mean, wow. Magnus, you beat me on this one.
You can add on to it.
I just said words, man.
I know. It's like poetry. It's like poetry. I think in the SCA we're in a weird hobby, you know, when defined by greatness. You know, I also think one thing defined by greatness is anybody can be a great fighter. Anybody. If you put in the work to be a great fighter, doesn't really mean you're a great person, though. I mean, I think all of us, you know, we're all three from different kingdoms. We met some great fighters, but they can be some douchebags. But what do you do? Can you be a great fighter and also just be like, to show us how to be great fighters? You know, are you a person that will be the guy and just talk about how you whooped his ass, or are you going to be the guy that said, "Hey, man, it was a great fight"? You know, to me that's a legend. You know, just because I think some people we let it. And I've done it before. I'm 20 years old. I think sometimes we let ego get in the way. But to me, it really means a lot when you can have the great stick, but also you can just appreciate everybody that's around you.
Again, I mean, fucking well done, guys. I mean, it goes to show that I will be very, very pleased when I see and I hear about you guys getting knighted, because I know that that the SCA will be well taken care of by at least two gentlemen who are ready to give their all to keep the society going and to keep the dream alive. I mean, you guys are the perfect example of keeping the dream alive.
Really
beautifully said.
We're just two bros that like to hit each other. So
isn't that weird? We do a sport where and I always tell people this when they ask, like, why do you do this? I'm like, well, there's something funny about getting hit and then having that ability to talk with your friends about, that was the most amazing shot. I'm not going to be able to use this arm tomorrow. And that's our friendship when it comes to fighting. Of course, we have our other things, but yeah, you hit me really good, man. I think I got a concussion. Good shot, man.
Well, also, I think we need to remember is we're all people too.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
I mean, just come up and talk to us. You know, we're willing to talk. I love talking.
You guys are and again, when you're knighted, you guys are going to be the ones that the new kids are going to come to, and you're approachable. You can tell that you love what we do, and that's huge.
For both of us, the problem is usually getting us to stop talking. So this is a very
we're gonna tie that into like the 20-year-old problem. I mean, maybe when you hit 30, it goes away. I know of some older people where it doesn't. Never gonna judge. I was trying to figure out what the fuck are they saying? Okay. Annora fangirling is what makes these episodes so fun. No, I am just weird. I'm fucking weird.
You do. I've had a really good time.
I'm really glad. It's been awesome to meet you guys. I'm gonna always put these guys in for awards for their amazing dedication and feats, even outside the kingdom. Oh, so he's spouting award recommendations. Very true. Okay, we're coming up on 55 minutes. This has been an amazing show. We're gonna end it with one of my all-time favorite questions. And if you have watched the show before, I love this question. How has the SCA gotten you ready for the zombie apocalypse? SCA, not just the fighting, but as a whole. Look at Magnus. He's smelling the farts.
I was deep in
All right, Leo.
I don't really think it has. I mean, I know
you didn't think I was going to ask that?
No.
Oh, are you kidding? No, you've got to have something.
I mean, there's going to be some people I want to need, by my back, Armor's a thing. Wear a bunch of armor.
Very true. They have to not be able to bite through armor. Very true.
Well, it depends, what kind of zombies are there? Are they the Walking Dead zombies, or, are they the, 40-day zombies? Can they run?
That is an incredibly good argument, and I think that needs to be a part of it. Do you have a different idea for both?
I mean, you can hit them in the knee, just tell them they don't have to take it.
You need to take out their knee. But your dad said you're going to get eaten. You'd probably be so busy trying to reform them and be like, come on, man, you can come back. You can come back.
I'd probably go feral. I'd probably be like that. You guys seen that show, The Wild Thornberries?
You would be Donnie?
Yeah, I'd be Donnie. I'd
the hair gives you away.
And I would, get a spear, and I'd be like one of the Ewoks or something, or the Sand People off of Star Wars.
That's the Sand People. Oh my God.
I'd start like, I don't know.
No, the point about the different zombies, that just kind of changed up the question, and that's gonna. I'll be curious if others mention that going forward, because you're right, they are different. Swamp zombies would get him. Ooh, nasty.
So, in addition to like knowing how to use blunted weapons, knowing how to use like steel weapons, knowing how to have armor, knowing how to armor people, I could take as long as I have a handsaw, I could take any 5-gallon barrel and take some random guy off the street and be like, hey, you're not going to die if you get bit. So knowing, because we've had to armor up a lot of our newbies, making armor, taking those now armored people and putting them into a unit to fight. I'm just going to assume these are like actually realistic zombies we could fight. Because if they're World War Z zombies, it's get a group of people, travel north to where it's frozen, because I don't think they have antifreeze in their blood. So if it's frozen, we could survive. They probably can't. But assuming we could fight them, get a bunch of people using our conflict resolution, our people skills that we've developed in the SCA, armoring them up, teaching them how to fight, learning how
about the non-zombies. We're talking about the normies. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting people because there's knowing how to camp, how to cook, how to like take superior angles in fights, win battles strategically, hold positions. I think all that, and having a unit of people that are already kind of proficient in that in your local area would all kind of contribute to surviving the zombie apocalypse. So I think being able to make an army would help out a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a book about this.
Army.
I don't know if people know this. There's a book about this.
What book?
Survive the zombie apocalypse.
I forgot the name of the book, but basically, like, one day airplanes start crashing down, none of the electricity works, none of the cars work. So basically, the United States starts forming kingdoms. So, like, the East Coast becomes its own kingdom. The West Coast becomes its own kingdom. The South becomes its own kingdom. And, there's some other kingdoms there.
Oh, you're going to have to send me that one, because somebody says it's Ariel. Sure. Ariel is the book? Ariel?
I'm trying to remember the name. I'm having a really, blank spot right now.
No, it sounds really interesting, and I want to read that only because it sounds very similar to something else. Very good points. And again, you guys thought of something outside the box, not just hey, I can swing a stick, like a lot of the rest of us thought of. You thought of completely different things. Again, fucking kudos.
I would go feral. There we go. I would go feral.
Feral is entirely new, bro.
Everything I said is like nice, subjective. We're saying that in our air condition when there's not food to eat, there's not water to drink. Real fast. We're talking about theoreticals.
Yeah, exactly. This would be really easy. Hang on, I gotta go use my phone.
It's morally wrong to raid raiders. Like raiding like a group of people, that's like a little more gray area if you have to survive. But if you raid raiders, it's already stolen. They're not good people. So I think raiding raiders would be an important thing to do.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's survival of the fittest, and you got to look out for your own people, like Leo said. No, you guys, this has been amazing. We have hit an hour. I don't even know if you guys were aware of that.
Wow. Yeah.
I wonder what zombies taste like. I'm going to guarantee zombies are not the best tasting creatures out there, just because humans are not the best tasting creatures.
How do you know that?
How do you know that? Apparently.
Supposedly, spam is shaped protein approximating man in some countries. So, I mean, and you're right, the long pork issue, but I don't know. Assume rotten pig. Exactly. Think of like week old carnitas left out. Oh, I'm done. Okay. We're going to go right into, so we have a couple of shows coming up, at least from what I can see. On the 15th, we have 3 former fat guys. That is the 15th, which is not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. The Sunday after that, we have Coffee with Cal, which is a bird's eye view. I don't quite know what that means, but I'm sure there's going to be at least a banner somewhere explaining that. That will be Sunday the 18th. Our next one of these is Ask the Knights on the 20th, and this one has been currently my favorite. This one was great. I'm very excited for the next one because it's going to be my knights. It's going to be Sir Leotolf and Sir Valric. So I am very, very stoked to be able to interview my knights. Guys, it has been absolutely awesome to get to know you guys. I look forward to hopefully getting to know you better, getting to meet you at an event, getting to do some fighting with that dreaded Florentine. But at the same time, just getting to pick your brains a little bit more in person about your awesome views of how the world needs to continue onwards and the next incoming players. I think it's just amazing your gusto for it. It's really, really, really refreshing. So thank you guys so
really
much. Thank the audience for being absolutely into this. You know, they loved you guys. Absolutely loved your guys' gusto as well. You guys have been amazing. And Effin, thank you so much for inviting these guys on, even if you didn't want to interview them. This was a treat. I am so glad I got to do this. And John, thank you so much for also being in the background as our other tech guy. And so everybody, again, thank you so very much for hanging out with us tonight. We will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come on here.
And Magnus.
Talk. What? Oh, yeah, we're going to do the forearms.